rain. Then it gets cold, but I think so.
No.
Might have lots of left. Everything else.
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. Time to call this meeting to order. This is the Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 meeting of the Planning Board of the Town of Lincolnville. Meeting's called for. First, we'd like to do is we introduce the panel up here to the folks sitting out there. So we'll start with Joan.
Joan Richardson, board member.
Dick Vermeulen, member. Earl Brown, member.
Dick Butler, chair.
Sandy Delano, member.
Frank Terrio, code officer.
Nancy Weiser, scribe.
Janet K. alternate.
That's correct.
Good job, Janice.
So the first item on our agenda is review of the minutes from the meeting of November 12th. I'm assuming everybody has a copy of them. Have you all looked at them?
Yep.
Anybody like to make a motion to accept or
Motion to accept the meetings of
the minutes?
the minutes of whatever the date was.
November 12th.
Yep.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? So done, that's done. So the second item on the agenda is the shoreline zone issue. Mr. Blair Graber withdrew to remove the roof and windows and construct an addition to his camp located at 34 South 3rd Avenue, map 9, lot 34. Instead, the entire camp was demolished. Mr. Graber has submitted a new application for an after-the-fact permission to demolish the camp, rebuild a new one as per submitted new plans, which you all should have. Mr. Greg Ines will be presenting. So, Mr. Ines, if you would like to step up and tell us what's going on.
I have a new live rolled out. And the primary focus on this is to show that there have been added 11 trees. And the only one thing I want to point out there, you said conifer trees, you left out the fact you have to have deciduous with well mixed too.
Okay. All right.
And then indigenous.
Okay. Good. Very good. Oh, we can talk into the mic, please.
Hello, thank you for letting me present. When I stood before you in November with the original set of plans, we started the project, very cold, took a while to get our subs there, started doing the work. Once the demolition started of the roof structure and portions of the wall, it was, and I brought photos, I don't know that they're relevant, but it was discovered that the entire 4 beams under the house were rotted. We can tell by walking around and moving around there. And so upon inspection, I took photos. And anyway, we just decided, I decided, I thought I wrongfully thought I had the freedom of liberty to say, we'll just go ahead and demolish, have a permit to build this. And December 23rd, Frank called me and said, basically there was a problem, stop work, and you need to come see me. So I didn't realize I didn't have that freedom. And so that started this process. I met with Frank several times. He had let me know I would potentially need a NERPA permit. I immediately called Vanessa O'Donnell, who is here. We've retained her for the project, and she has visited the job site, given us guidelines that we've followed. She's submitted this NERPA permit, and anyway, she's here as well. And if there's any questions the board asks for her, she's here as well.
What's the reason for the permit?
There was the contractor went in and he did not put in place any erosion control, which is mandatory before you can start the work. And then he did excavation within 25 feet of the water. Anytime you have soil disturbance within 25 feet of the water, putting yourself in for a good fine if you do not have a NERPA permit, natural resource protection. So, my recommendation to the planning board, just to be on the safe side, you do not want to give an okay to go ahead with this new project until NERPA is satisfied that there's nothing else needs to be done. In other words, we don't want to tell NERPA we don't need any input from you. They override DEP.
Sure.
So Vanessa's role in this, what I have asked him to do, we need verification or documentation on one side of another. Either we could even settle for an email from them. I understand Vanessa has submitted a NERPA permit. Now, when you submit a NERPA permit, the way it's worded on that, if you don't hear from them in 14 days, it means you can go ahead. So unless your contacts or anybody,
You want to step?
Yeah, so my name's Vanessa, I'm a permit consultants, and the main thing that I do is apply for state, federal, and town permit applications. And I specifically focus on the Natural Resources Protection Act application. So I work with Frank on issues like this. So I was contacted by Greg Imus about completing the state permit applications that will be required for this project. And so I, with Frank and working closely with the DEP, determined that they did in fact need a NERPA application. And that NERPA application that was required is called a permit by rule. All the application materials have been submitted as of January 8th, 2026. I went and took photos and submitted them, and I work closely with the project manager. Her name is Laura, and I've worked with her a lot in the past. She has all the materials, of the submitted materials, and including we've submitted and paid all the fees. So those fees are all submitted. Also, additionally to this, the normal fees that the DEP requires, we have paid an after the fact fine, and which basically doubles the application process for the client. So all of the both application materials and the fees to the DEP have all now been paid. I expect the project submission application to be completed shortly. So as Frank kind of discussed, that there is a waiting period, and I believe by the end of this month, I should hear back from the DEP with the approved application. So at this point, they don't need any more, and they've approved the application as complete.
did you make a copy of the submission?
I have a copy of it. I left that on your desk. I also have a copy, which I didn't give to you, but I have a copy of both the normal fees from the DEP and the fees that we paid. So we have a copy of that.
And so what the board will need then, they have told you that it's going to be approved.
So I don't guarantee the approval from the DEP. That's not what I do. I would get paid more money if I could do that. But I do work really closely, and I do these sort of applications all the time, and I've been doing it for 8 years. And so I have full confidence that this application will get approved in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, exactly.
Very helpful. So to put the board's mind at ease, we could take what is documented on the NERPA permit itself. It's stated right on there. If you don't hear from me within 14 days, go. What I will suggest to the board, you don't have anything in your hands, but having a copy of what's submitted, then you could have on there a continuation, contingency of the fact that it will be approved in 14 days from the date of the submission. Okay, and at that point in time, if you can give us, because you have a contact with it, which is great. And so that we can you can dump it on me to follow up to make sure they can't start anything for at least 14 days.
14 days from January 8th.
Yeah.
Right.
That rule, which has been like that for, I don't know, that maybe longer than I've been doing this. And they've now changed it to 20 business days. So our actual state, 20 business days, yeah, so it did extend it a little bit. And so I believe it's February 6th is the date that's the latest that we could hear.
My opinion would be that we would want to have something proved from them, something in writing, or that something comes from them that says the time frame has changed, that has
So once they
expired.
the application. oh, I-
Baker, put that, sorry, to put that contingency on the second page. We'll
Yeah,
write that- write that in.
Yeah, right.
And the town's covered.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. It's great having you on board with this, where you have this contact with it, there's nobody else I know. Okay, that was a starting point before we were any further.
Sure. Okay, you want to continue or?
Sure, and I'll be brief. So the approved plans, which I brought a copy that you don't have before you, but what you had approved, the home and the home before, one corner of it was 25 feet off the water and it had an 8-foot deck, which put it within 17 feet. Frank had said, since I took it down, I've got to move everything back behind the 25-foot line. So this plan has pulled the home back and to the 25-foot line and is no longer,
Oh, yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it?
hanging 8 feet over the 25-foot setback.
Are you still planning?
So when you demolish a camp, the planning board is then tasked to make sure of two things. Number one, that you have to make sure that the applicant can move that as far as practical in back of the 100-foot line. Okay. And the second thing you have to do is make sure that you have a septic system that's a legally designed system. I have the new design for the septic system, and so you need to defend yourself why you didn't move it back further than you moved it.
Well, I had to change the design of the house and broaden it a little and shorten it because I've had Ed Green that designed the system and it's approved. There's only one spot for it and it's going to be tight. Now we're pulling the house, but there is room to the septic where I have it on that plan.
Is that the new, is it the new one?
This is the new plan.
And so what the applicant is asking for.
Forward, Dick, and
Sorry?
can I step forward?
Sure.
Actually, you better Christian first.
Okay. You can see where it was and it's red dotted, and then when you pull it back, you can see where I had the septic there, but I've had Ed Green out. Everything is ledge around here, and there's wet areas around here, the neighbor's well is here, so this is the only area that's gonna be concrete chambers, and so by pulling this back, we've moved it as close back to this property line as we can legally fit it in there.
Well, you were gonna do a new septic system, even if you tore it down.
Yes,
I mean, if you didn't tear it down.
yes,
They had,
Correct.
but they had to readdress it. Because of-
Right.
They are moved.
This house originally had, I was asking Frank earlier, had steps down to the water. Are they going to be,
no steps.
okay,
Yeah.
just curious about
Yeah,
that.
I didn't see anything on anything that's submitted for that being.
The original house had some steps down there, but we had never designed any steps to go down.
Well, I was just curious, they went from the deck down to the water, I was just asking because it was in
Right.
that 25-foot zone.
Right, we're not doing,
The other question I had, you sold this property to them, Greg,
I did,
in 21?
that's to the Ottavianos I sold it.
Okay.
They were now the sellers and I represented the sellers, but not the buyer. I didn't represent the buyer on this.
Okay, the reason I was asking is, the only thing I saw being a realtor,
Yep,
looking,
sure.
I noticed that it showed previously sold in 21 to the Octavios. And I don't see the Graver's name in the.
There isn't a new deed.
Yeah, but I was just saying that on the 2025 tax register, they're not noted, the activity is still there. So
Right,
that's why I was questioning.
And it just closed and I,
Look,
Frank got that too, and I presented the new deed too. So,
okay, well, we're doing our job.
right, yes,
Listen, all right, this is not a meeting for.
right, I did it.
Okay, good. Good. Those are the two questions I had.
Are you in the butter?
Excuse me.
Are you one of the neighbors?
I am not,
Oh,
yeah, I'm close.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a few properties, I'm on the other side of Third Ave, but
Okay.
The only thing I would add too, is that by moving that setback, is that they become more in compliance with the main DEP regulations.
25 foot.
Mhm.
They have addressed that by moving it, as well as satisfying that you're telling them they have to do it.
Can I ask a question, just because I'm still trying to learn this job? So the old footprint, the new design, how much does that change the square footage of the building? That you Is it on?
I did both, I had talked to Leon, and said.
Okay, so that's right here, original residence, but that's,
I think one of the things that is my problem.
I saw that.
it's, let's see, the original square footage. That's impervious surface. This is 30. I'm sorry.
You're right on that.
What was the- Okay,
So
the original structure was how many square feet? This impervious surface to me doesn't tell me.
So I got this number from Frank
That was the original square footage.
with the deck and everything.
Okay.
Yes, and he said I can go 30% over. So Frank told me this is the maximum to be, and we kept it slightly
Okay.
under.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you.
Those are the trees.
No.
Well, just.
Oh, okay. So they're changing.
Impervious.
They stay and leave it at the house. Because they cut trees down and that's what they cut.
Yeah, I thought the one I've got shows the trees off to the right.
Well, it's the one in front of the water. That was critical.
Oh, okay. So they just don't.
Those happen, the tree, go. 5 of them are on the water side because that's where the violations from the trees took place. So when they have to replant, it has to come from the same area, even though it's gonna block the view of the water. It has to be where those trees come out of. That's why 6 of the trees are on the left side.
Yep. So I would like a motion that we accept the proposal, the application as proposed, with the contingency that no work can begin until the CEO is notified or has proof that the application to NERPA has been approved.
I would second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
That contingency right here.
Sure, I will. Okay, you're done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I guess you did a great job to put a lot of work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You were. Heaven said.
Yes, she was.
Get rid of that.
Right.
Because the fees got. Vanessa, you want the same as O'Donnell?
Low, speaking double E or double N. I'll see you this week coming up.
Here's the right item for you if you want.
Yeah.
All very confused. I do want to tell you when I sent the letter of violation to the owner of this property. His response was so positive that it was just, usually when I send out a violation letter, there's The best part that they take. He apologized right up front. And he gave Imus carte blanche to make whatever moderations of the building we had to. Now that made it work so much easier for him.
Oh, yeah, you imagine the mess they would be in if you didn't do that.
Yes. The last time.
Okay, I'm sorry, my writing is.
But they're not, they started that, and you know, they say they're for medical.
Okay, good. Okay, so I didn't know you were here.
I just thought the door was open. They don't want to leave the door open around
He
me.
didn't know it was there. I don't know.
So the next item on the agenda is Mr. Michael Mahan requesting that a portion of the multiple roofs of his camp be brought up to the 20-foot height of the existing roof located 90 Camden Road, map 18, lot 50. Scott Underhill, you will be presenting. I think that's it, Mr. Underhill. Would you like to let us know what you do?
Well, I don't have the package in front of me, but I think you all do. Basically, it's a non-conforming structure because Frank went over and measured and it's 22 feet to the peak of the highest portion of the house. The section of the house that we're looking at is currently about I think it's 6.5 feet lower than that, and we want to bring the rest of the house up to about 19.5 feet, 19'10", I think is the exact measurement. It's not going to increase the footprint of the house at all. It's actually going to reduce the footprint of the structure by about 32 square feet because there's an 8-foot by 4-foot bump out that was struck by a vehicle recently, and it's the bathroom of the house. And he's been interested in getting that part of the bathroom that sticks out back incorporated into the main footprint of the house. So it in fact does make the footprint smaller, just taller. So
I've got 2 sets of drawings here.
Me too.
One says proposed, the other existing, the other one says the same thing, what we talked.
I think maybe one of them has an additional height reference on the side.
Yes.
I think the one that you're looking at, Sandy, that you have your hand on right now is the one that we'd be looking at. Because I was going from top of foundation when I initially gave Frank the drawings. And then I found out top of foundation doesn't count. It was where the actual grade starts, which is down.
So it
close
is
to the lake.
supposed to be taken from the front.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to take.
That's what I thought.
Original horizontal, very average.
So I would be with this project under the 20 feet with what I'm looking to do, what the customer's looking to do.
Footprint. And the maximum height allowed there is 20 feet, that's what the existing building was, or is, and it's all. It's one of the questions, why is it here?
Well, yeah, but on the other hand, I don't understand that. It shows.
Well, he's got to, he initially gave you handout that the height was only 14.6, but he did not measure from the ground level.
I understand that part, but you're saying the maximum is 20?
20 feet, right?
That's 20.
22, it is 20 feet. Whatever the existing height is.
The existing, okay.
Right.
Yeah, the existing height, a portion of the building is at 22 feet. Yeah, it's very confusing even when you stand and look at the building.
Yeah, I bet.
Pretty confused.
Anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion.
Go right ahead.
I'll make the motion. We approve the application as submitted.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You're
right.
He did.
State and legal laws.
That dates you. That dates you.
I know.
He's a little more,
Thank you, everyone.
Side, you put that in the scene, yes.
Well, that's what you handed me.
Didn't read it?
You handed it to me, Frank.
Okay.
Don't blame me.
They went all the way.
So why don't we just cross that out? and I'll initial it. One last thing before we adjourn, Nancy. I wanted to bring up, an issue. The, land use committee, you know, we both, we went to a couple of workshops and meetings and so forth. So they finally, they came up with a final version of their proposed changes to the land use ordinance. And we weren't privy to the final resolution of it, but I have a letter from Mr. Kinney who said that this is going to be presented to the select board, and they're going to, if they approve it, we'll have to have a public meeting before the planning board for this proposal to be presented to the public prior to obviously any town meeting. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that since we really didn't get to see the final version, we weren't consulted, but I copied. Now the whole thing is about 50 pages, but I didn't copy all of the pages. I just copied the pages that have changes on them. And so I'd like each of you to pass this down, please. And it's yours. Just take a look at it. At our next board meeting, we can talk about it. And certainly I'm going to try to find out what the procedure is going to be for a public meeting from David, and we'll take it from there.
Why didn't you get to see the changes?
You tell us.
I asked David Kinney to send them.
When we have just presented them to the board? So we could go over them?
Well, it didn't work that way. So I asked him for, and this may not be the final deal. I think he said this is the final working thing that's coming from the attorney. So he's assuming this will be the final thing presented.
The
But-
final-
Yes, yeah. Well, we weren't consulted. So the point is, when we have a meeting, I'll see what the position is and whether, and we may not have any. If you review this and look at it, I can get you a copy, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought you were in Australia. Okay. 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 So, any other questions?
I have so many questions.
So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. 6:26.
I didn't have it. It's a hell of a better. Seconded.
Who first?
All in favor? We are adjourned.
There we go.
Thank you all very much for showing up. I appreciate it.
I think so, yeah. We were in that committee.
Yeah, they were raised, nothing really done about it. So I think we're okay. I wanted to see the final thing wasn't.
And I don't know why either.
Okay, well,
Because we talked about that.
yeah, I see it. It would have been nice to have maybe a couple of something more.
Been on the system. You have to turn it on.
No,
No.
I don't think they do. They-
No, he's doing that.
Have you looked at it there?
I have, and I've got some thoughts. I'd like you all to look at it too.
Have it.
It doesn't look comfortable. I'm just from my stand.
Good night.
Very hard.
Mhm.
I'm hardly trying, which is.
I just don't feel so.